buckle too tall. Independent minds for a better Liberia. Independent minds, let the voices be heard. From Montserrat to Grand Gede, Low Fanimba and Bombi, Majibi Bassa and River Cess, Refugee, Grand Croix and Sino. Ideals rising from every town, speaking the truth and lifting the nation. Progress, unity, transformation. Independent minds for a better Liberia. Independent minds, let the people speak. Hosted by Moni.
My fellow Liberians, despite our diversity, we are a united people, a great and noble people. Through the strength of our unity and the resilience of our determination, we have begun to rebuild a ravished country and have survived two deadly health crises. Our people have stood together as one united people, ready to face the future. Whether you are a fisherman of Grand Cru and Sino, the hunters of Grand Jide and River G, the farmers of Lofa and Bapolu, the Gola and Vai dancers of Bumi and Kipmount, the hospitable people of Bassa and River Cess, the warriors of Maryland, the miners and explorers of Nimba, the merchants and traders of Bong, the welcoming people of Magibi, or the melting pot of Montserrat. We are one people, Liberians. We have a great challenge and opportunity ahead of us. In unity, we will rebuild this country as a shining example in Africa, demonstrating the power of a determined and united people. Our economy and our national budget will expand and grow like never before. We will improve the lives of our people and put smiles on the faces of our citizens. I promise you that together we can and will do the job. A new day is on the horizon. The time for babysitting is over. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Independent minds, oh, let the people speak.
Please, General, please.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was just there talking. I'm being very away. You gotta mute your mic. Okay. I am very sorry. Those of you who are listening to us on Facebook and YouTube, I know I just saw the comments, but thank God, it's technology. So this is a program called Independent Minds for Better Liberia. Better Liberia. We have a guest, and we will all interact with him. This is not just an interview. This is a conversation between him and us. I will call his name later on, but this is a place where you think freely. This is a show where every Liberian has the right to speak. Yes, I have an independent man, but I support someone and you support someone too. So it is your right. But when independent minds come together, we do greater things. So I'm not going to waste time. This show is live on Top FM in Grand Jita, Kia Radio in Monrovia, KCN TV on YouTube, Kia Network on KCN on Facebook, Kia Network on YouTube, and also TGN TV is on YouTube and on my personal page. So I want you to share the video. Share the video. I want you to interact to this man. I want you to see the other side of him. He's a Liberian or son of Liberia. He's a story that we all can tell and say, yes, this guy is the guy. But I want you to put up your independent heart. Don't look at him as one of the person that you were opposing yesterday. But I want you to have an open mind. He will speak from his heart because, listen, it's not that I'm in love with him, but I admire him and I love his platform. That is why I always talk about his platform. So I think he will speak on that today. So don't forget, another guy will be joining me, Lofa. So Kruma, how are you there? Abraham, you are in Grand Jita. How is everything in Grand Jita?
Yes, Grand Jita is okay, and we're doing fine here.
And the people are excited. Yeah,
the listeners are waiting to interact with the political leader.
Okay, that's good. So when you can mute your working on that.
Okay,
and choose on nice. Everything is nice. Tuzon, are you there?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm not going to waste no time. I'm going to bring on this individual. He's no other person. He's an humanitarian. He's a philanthropist. He's a political leader, a Liberian, a man who worked hard. And every day he thinks about Liberia. The man who retired before getting into politics. The man who we sometimes ask, how do you do it? Very calm, very respectful. We have seen a lot of leaders. And I will tell you, when I'm giving example of leaders, I always call his name. So he's no other person. And he said, don't put too much title behind my name. He's no other person but Alex Cummings. How are you, Mr. Cummings?
Munir, the general, I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Abraham, good to see you. Tuzan, good to see you guys as well. Looking forward to a spirited and a good discussion.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cummings. Always talking to you. I can enjoy talking to you, especially when we're on the phone. And I pray that God continue to bless you. Yes, people will say, oh, but Muna, you supported Mr. Cummings anyway, so you can bring him. But I never push for you to come on my show. But sometimes I say, you know what, I got to bring him. So, Mr. Cummings, let's just go. I'm going to keep you up for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And I promise you, we'll have time for people to call, especially from Grand Jita. And I want you to explain to my Liberian people. Many Liberians feel forgotten that their leaders, most of the time, they say, well, they just talk to us after election, they will leave. Why should they come the ordinary market woman, the children, the fathers, the mothers? Why you think that they should trust you with Liberia to say, this is why you think they should trust you? Because they say most of the people after election, they disappear and they will come back again and start talking.
Yeah, no, I think there are maybe two reasons. I'm sure there are more, but two reasons why I want and I hope and pray that Liberians trust me. One is, there's a saying that the best way to tell how somebody will behave or how they will perform in the future is how they have behaved or how they have performed in the past. So if somebody has been, bad in the past, they don't keep their promises, in the future, no matter what they say to you now, they will have that behavior. Just like if somebody has performed well, they've done a good job, they treat people well, they deliver results. If they've done that in the past, there's a high chance they will do the same in the future. So I said to Liberians, if you look at my past, if you look at my philanthropy, meaning what I've done to help Liberians, even as a private citizen, you know that list is very long. And as you also know, maybe people say, oh, Mr. Cummins, you should let people know you're in politics now. In helping our country, helping our people, I never did it for political reasons because I wanted to benefit or because I wanted to embarrass somebody because they needed help. But of any politician, I believe in our country, anybody who has run for the office of president, I have done the most in the past to help our people, whether it's computers in schools, whether it's generators at schools, whether it's providing health facilities and medication to almost most of our hospitals. The list goes on and on and on of things myself and my family have done to help our fellow Liberians because we care for our country and our people. So there's a history of somebody who gives back, who cares, and doesn't necessarily want credit for doing that. The other reason why I think Liberians should trust me is I've lived some of the experiences. As you know, I grew up in Point Four. I went to a government school, demonstration school. I grew up in Fiamma with ordinary Irish common Liberians. My parents started from very, very low, modest means. My father was an outside child. My mother only finished high school. She was what they call a practical nurse. But it taught me hard work. Good. My mother used to always say, hard work, don't kill anybody. And to treat people right, treat people with respect. And so I've done all of those things. And the record is there. The proof is there. And those are examples of why Liberians should trust that what I say I will do today is what I will do tomorrow, because there's a track record of doing that. There's a track record of experiencing a lot of their challenges and of trying to do something about it in my own weak way as a private citizen of our country.
Thank you, Mr. Cummins. You said something. I do have done a lot for Liberia, but you try not to talk about it because you don't want to sting that you're breaking people down because you respect their dignity. And I witnessed it where you went to a foundation the other day in Liberia. You were giving, and you told them to shut the camera off. So, Mr. Cummins, if any young man, young Liberians, or some single women listening to you, what message you have for them, because there's your story and their story are the same, nothing different, or maybe they want to hear from you. What are some of the encouraging words that you would give them, whether not to give up or they should continue to fight and whatsoever?
Yeah, a few things I would say that maybe has explained my success that they may find helpful and inspirational in terms of the challenges they are facing. One is I'm a strong believer in God, and I feel I've been blessed. And I encourage young people, whatever your faith is, if you're a Christian, you're Muslim, whatever your faith is, be grounded in your faith, in your belief in God and in His tender mercies to guide you, protect you, to bless you going forward. I think that belief is important, and claiming success through that belief, I think, is an important part of where I find myself and why I think I was successful, and I think it might work for other young people. A few other things I would say to them is they need to be persistent, do not give up too quickly, do not give up too easily. You will have ups and downs in life, you have disappointments, but you gotta persist, you gotta be resilient, you gotta push to achieve your goal. Don't get discouraged too quickly. Don't let other people tell you, oh, you can't do that. I often say to young people too, don't start planning for plan B too quick, too early, right? Focus on your plan A, whatever that might be. And that persistence, that tenacity, I think is a part of our success. I think as we think about country politically, I say to Liberians, you can make a choice. One of my favorite sayings, General, is you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results, right? That in your personal life, if you want things to be different over time, you got to do some things differently. If you're a student and last semester you didn't do good in school, or even if you say you made a C and you want to make a B or an A next semester, you got to work harder. If you work this at the same way you worked in the past, you studied the same way you studied in the past, you will get the same grade or maybe even worse because the lesson is getting harder, right? So as Liberians, the people we choose to go into the legislature, to become president, vice president, if we keep choosing people with the same kind of experiences, the same kind of background, we'll get the same results, right? So I encourage young people to do things differently, make different choices, be persistent in your goals, don't give up too quickly, don't quit up too easily, and be strong in your faith. And recognize that, life is not going to be perfect. You'll be disappointed along the way, but stick with your ambition, etc. Recognize that Liberia has a lot of opportunities. We are a rich country, yet we are poor people. But if we select different kind of leaders, we'll benefit from the resources of our country. And so those are some words I hope are encouraging for people who are maybe discouraged about where they find themselves today.
Okay, good. Mr. Comey, something I check on and I know is true. You gave your past where your mom went to high school, things were tough. I know in your personal life you came across some tough challenges when things were hard. I remember, I know it's true that when you came to the States, when you were by yourself, there were times where it was not easy for you to even find a place to sleep and you had to struggle. Tell the Liberian people what some of the things that you went through to reach this far. Can you remember some of the challenges where someday it was tough and you think you wanted to give up while coming up?
Yeah, no, look, there were many occasions you mentioned, when I came to the US for university, it was challenging, um, making sure I could feed myself 3, 4 meals a day. I had to really manage my little small budget. Where I live I don't want to pretend it was comfortable, but I had to really hustle to make sure I could pay the rent to be where I could stay consistently. I was in Illinois where it's very cold in the winter. Remember, I had only one, what you used to call a down jacket. That was a jacket I had almost the entire 3 years. I was in undergraduate school. I couldn't afford to get new and different ones. So it was, when I was in graduate school, I had to work full time, and I was going to school full time. So I used to work in the evenings. Afternoon and evenings was my shift. I worked in a bank as a clerk, and I would go to school full time, and so very little time to actually sleep, because to get through graduate school, I had to, work to help pay my tuition, pay for where I live, etc., etc. So these are all examples of some of the challenges we went through. But again, it was the determination that, as I said before, my mother is hard work don't kill anybody, and there's no fear of working hard, uh, and with the belief that I will get the results in the end if I worked hard, if I stuck with it. And again, I want to encourage young people, because Liberia is a young country, as you know, that things are not going to be easy. We've been through some of the challenges you're faced with today, but there's light at the other end of the tunnel, as they say, if you work hard, if you persist, if you pray and believe, if you claim your success. If you know you'll be disappointed up and down, but don't let that discourage you. Keep going. If you stick to your goal, you will get the outcome in the long term.
Where hard work doesn't kill anyone. Mr. Cummings, what keep you up at night when you think about Liberia and you still believe? Because sometimes you say, listen, whether I see it or not, whether it can be my time or somewhere else, that things will be better in Liberia. What keep you up? Where you get that motivation from that you think that Liberia will be better?
The motivation and what keeps me up is the desire and actually the obligation I feel to help Liberians in a meaningful, in an impactful way. And the human cost of the lack of good leadership in Liberia actually bothers me a lot, Munir. that the fact that the statistics, and it might be even more than this, but the statistics, this is not Alexander Cummings statistics, right? These are published statistics by credible organizations that says 2 out of 5 Liberians go to bed hungry. That bothers me in a country that got so much natural resources. No Liberian should go to bed hungry. That we have young people still selling in the streets. That keeps me up. That bothers me that's the case. That a police officer, or teacher, or healthcare worker, or soldier don't make enough money to pay their rent, pay the children's school fee, pay for food 3 meals a day. That many Liberians are challenged. That most of our young people get out of university, no jobs. That keeps me awake when I know that if we manage our resources differently, if we made different choices on how we allocate our budget, etc., that we could change the lives of the average Liberian. That those things bother me. Those things make me worry. And because, as I said at the beginning, I've been very blessed in life. I don't think God blessed me just to keep the experience I've gotten, all the blessings just for myself and my family, but to try to do something, this obligation, this need to do something to help my fellow Liberians who, again, on a human level, most Liberians continue to struggle, no jobs, can't get 3 meals a day, can't pay the children's school fee, can't pay the rent. If they, God forbid, they get sick, no drugs in the clinics. Those things keep me awake because I know we can do better. We can do things differently to fix all of those challenges. Not overnight, not easily, but it can be done.
Well, Mr. Cummings, you saying some things, and I know the people out there are listening to you. And before we get, because something that I love that blew me to you was your platform, your vision for Liberia. We'll get into it, but I want to ask you this question because you love education, especially your wife. She loves education and she's into the healthcare. She wish she could be there now and doing it. Mr. Cummings, you ever pay WIAC fee for Liberian students before in Liberia?
Oh, yeah. Again, General, there is among the list, and maybe I need to send you that list of things we've done
I
over the
have it.
last, 10 plus years, maybe even longer. But one of those things is we did pay WAC fees for thousands of, young Liberians because, again, we believe in education. We believe particularly in what they call STEM education. We want our young people to focus on science, technology, engineering, math. We on this platform tonight. This is all technology, right? You can
Yeah.
be anywhere in the world. And we're talking to the people in Grand Juda, right? We're talking to people in Liberia, Monrovia, across the country. It's what they call technology. And I want to encourage Liberians. And so we focus on education, but science and technology education. We did pay wide fees for thousands of our young people. We provided scholarships for our young people to go to university to study science and education and technology. We've paid for students to go to cross-section of schools in our country. We provided funding for computer equipment at AMEU, at the University of Liberia Fennel campus, at St. Clements, and a long list of things because education is so critical. And because our country is a young country, as I said, 7% of our citizens are under the age of 35. And one of the keys to their future is for us to prepare them, to educate them, so that when they assume leadership of our country, they know what they're doing. They are competent and they're making the right decisions, the right choices to move the country forward.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, and we got a lot of things to say. Again, I want to go straight to your vision for Liberia. I saw this, I've listened to you. You talk about infrastructure, you talk about job creation, you talk about agriculture, you talk about education, you talk about health. And the last one that caught my attention was government of inclusion. I said, but Every party, when they win election, they only look at the partisan. They don't even worry about water. So, Mr. Cummings, why you put infrastructure first? Infrastructure, some like Brent say, we don't know, but then you broke it down. You said electricity, good drinking water, and education. So why infrastructure? Why? Why you choose that word first, infrastructure?
Yeah, look, Manir, there are many things we need to do, of course, to fix our country. But you know, when you're building a house, right, you gotta build a foundation first. And then when you build that foundation, and that foundation gotta be strong, right? So that then you can build the first floor, second floor, you can go up. If that foundation is not strong, you build your house over time, the house will break down. It will come down. And so foundationally, for any country, infrastructure is the foundation. What do we mean by infrastructure? All of these things are part of infrastructure. So this is in no particular order. Electricity. Monia, if you don't have consistent, I don't mean electricity just in the rain season. I mean electricity year round, and that is affordable, that Liberian people can afford. If you don't have electricity, your country will not develop. You will not be able to your children to study consistently and have power and light to do it. This science and technology, engineering and math, I'm talking about the fact that I'm on the air now talking to you and around the country they can hear us. With all electricity, you can't do that. If you want to open your factory and you want to add value, our farmers produce the coffee, whatever, and you want to put it in package it to export, to add value, you gotta have electricity. So electricity is very foundational, it's very basic, right? You gotta have roads. If you don't have good roads to get from point A to point B, if you're a farmer, you can't get your produce from your farm to the market or to the city or to the port to export. It's foundation. You will not develop your country. If you don't have consistently clean running water, many of the diseases that affect our people, our kind of waterborne diseases, typhoid, bad water, diarrhea from bad water, even malaria, mosquito to some extent where you don't have sanitation, right? So running water is basic, is part of the foundation before you can build a house. I talk about technology, internet connectivity, making sure everywhere in Liberia you can get a cell phone signal and you get on the internet. In today's world, in 2026, that is part of the foundation upon which you can do everything else, whether it's education, healthcare, to run your hospitals, to run your clinics. You need electricity. That's why everybody got generators all over the place. Again, because of all electricity, you can't do anything, right? So these things that they call infrastructure, they are the foundation for developing our country, for healthcare, for education, agriculture, etc., etc. If you don't have the foundation in place, you will not be able to fully develop our country, and that's why it's a priority. And investing in infrastructure, general, will also create jobs, right? So that's the other benefit of the need to begin to have the foundation, right? Before you build a house or you build an office building, whatever, you got to put a foundation in first. And infrastructure, it is that foundation that is the first priority. And as I say, it's also create jobs.
Yeah, I don't know how you came about it, because when I look at it, after that, I strictly judge, because when you're doing electricity, the electrician, the businessman will be able to sell wires and other things and will improve. But they were asking some of Mr. Cummings, where you get the money from? Labrador people always cry in the post because we get electricity now. Where you gonna get this money from? But they said no money in the country. Where you get it from to do what they say to fix electricity?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember back in 2017. So that we're in 2026, right? So 9 years ago, in a debate, I said our budget should be over $1 billion in a few years. And I remember people say, not possible. And in fact, it was mostly United Party people because they were in power at the time. Oh, there's no way to do it. Of course, we have not crossed the $1 billion mark in this past budget. My point for mentioning that is we can find the money in several ways. One is to get more money, more value from our natural resources. So all the iron ore we export, the gold we export, the diamonds we export, how we manage the ports, etc., we can get more resources to invest in all these things I'm talking about, in the infrastructure, right? If we reduce the stealing, right, the corruption, the money that's going to people's pockets, which is the primary reason why our people are suffering. If we reduce it, we get rid of it, which we can do, we should do. You will have the money to invest in infrastructure, these things I'm talking about, whether it's electricity, running water, roads, technology. Reducing the stealing will help us do that. If we allocate the money we have today, allocate it differently. So money in the new budget, 2026 budget, we're allocating over 50 million United States dollars to our legislature. Only 103 people. That doesn't make any sense. That we pay our legislators as much or more as the Americans, the richest country in the world, pay the legislature, right? If we reallocated that money into agriculture or to infrastructure or to education and healthcare, that's a different way of finding the same money you got, you allocate it differently. We increased the national security budget, NSA budget, by over 50%. Why? Where's the threat that justifies that increase? If we allocated our money differently, right, to pay teachers more, to pay healthcare workers more, to pay our police people more, to pay our soldiers more, that's again another way of kind of finding the money, the existing money, you reallocate it to help the human side, to help more and more of our people. So those are just some examples of how we can find the money, get more from our natural resources, stop the stealing, reallocate the funds we do have into ways that we generate even more money, more income for our people. So the money is there. We can find the money. We can continue to increase our budget from where it is today. But it's also not just increasing it, it's how you allocate it, how you spend the money that will make a difference. And if you spend it the right way, it will help you generate more money, help you generate more taxes, right? If we fix the business environment so that businesses can do well, right? Particularly Liberian businesses, right? That through that process, they will hire more people, the businesses will pay more taxes, the individuals, employees will pay more taxes, you generate more money, and again, you allocate it to the things that will impact the ordinary, the common Liberian. So those are just some examples of what we can and will do to find the money when given the
I can listen
opportunity.
to you the whole day, and the people I enjoy you. Let me welcome and Julius, Lufa Julius is here, and we all will continue. But before we go there, before I go to Lufa again, let me ask you this question, Mr. Cummings. How will you attract foreign investment under your administration? What they need to do? Because everything you say is like you're giving an advice. The government of Liberia is listening to you, and you always say my platform is out there, they can use it. How will you, because of Alex Cummings being president, that's why they will come? Or what do they look for? What kind of encouragement that would really bring investors in the country?
Yeah, and I know Lofa will speak just now. Lofa, welcome. Good seeing you again.
Thank you.
I saw you in Liberia not too long ago with the colleague you brought. Lofa is trying to bring investors to Liberia, by the way. So your question you asked, I don't know, you talked about it before. You said, oh, when you come on talk, as soon as I come on, ask me to comment about investors because he's trying to bring investors to our country. But yeah, there are many things we need to do, right? So people will not come. Look, again, one of my blessings is that I have many good relationships with people around the world, in Africa, in the sub-region, in the United States, in Europe. You know, Monier, I don't know if people know this, I have lived and worked in Nigeria. I've lived and worked in Kenya. I've lived and worked in South Africa. I've lived and worked in the United Kingdom, in Britain, in England, the UK. I've lived and worked in the US, and among many other places I've traveled. And I have relationships in all of the sub-region, right, and internationally. But people will not just because they know me, they know my reputation, they know my skills. That alone would not bring legitimate investors to come to Liberia. That will help, but is not sufficient. What we got to do is, again, we got to do what I call fix the environment. We got to make it easy for people to come and do business. The last time I checked, I don't know if they have fixed it, but the business registry website has been down for over a year. I mean, that is just unacceptable. That's one of the environmental. The business registry should be functional from a technology, from a process perspective to make it easy. Importing things, because for the next long term, the next 10 plus years, because it will take time to fix our country so we can be a next exporter of added value products. We got to make it easy for things to come in and out of the port of Liberia. Today it is complicated. There's a lot of corruption, stealing. We got to fix that. We got to fix the judiciary. If a serious investor is coming to your country, they want to make sure, if for whatever reason they run into problems, that when they go to the courts, it will be what they call adjudicated. It will be judged in a fair way, that not because Julius Act enter business, something happened, it doesn't work. Not because you know the judge, you can call the judge and the judge will change the results, right? It should be fair. If it's fair that he wins, he wins. If it's fair, I win, I win. If you don't face that environment, right, as an example, you will not get legitimate people to come and invest in your country. If we don't fix the stealing, the corruption stuff, if a businessman wants to come to register his business, to start a business, and everybody looking for bribe, they're making the things more complicated, more difficult. People say, I'm gonna bring my money to Liberia. I will go to Ghana, I will go to Ivory Coast, I will go to, Kenya, South Africa, I will keep my money in the US or in Europe, right? Because we gotta remember, people don't have to bring their money to Liberia. They got other places, other choices. We got natural resources in Liberia, the same resources we got in Liberia. They got some of that resource in Guinea. They got some of that in Ivory Coast. They got some of that in Ghana, so on and so forth. If the environment in those countries, if it's easier, if they don't harass you as much, if you can get your product in and out of the port, if the roads are better, if electricity is better, the infrastructure, they will go there, right? They will not necessarily come to Liberia. So we got to fix these environmental issues if we want to attract foreign direct investment into our country. But even before attracting foreign direct investments, General, we need to make it easy for Liberian businesses to thrive, right? We got to provide loan credit to our own businesses. The government procures, meaning the government buys a lot of things to run the government. Almost all of this is imported. We should use Liberians to be the one importing, because importation is basically arithmetic. You import for $10, you sell something for 11 or 12. You import for $5, maybe you sell it for 6 and 7, 6 or 7, so you make a profit. Liberians can do that. So, or you need cars or whatever. Liberians can be the ones that are the ones importing those things, right? So we got to make the environment good for everybody, but we got to make sure Liberians are benefiting disproportionately from the resources of our country.
Okay, let's go to Julius. I know Julius got something there.
Hey, Mr. Cummins. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you all, depending on where you're following from. Let me first and foremost say, Manet owed me a ticket to pay because he had me speeding, and I got a speeding ticket. So Manet's gonna pay for that. But I'm okay with it.
I will talk to ABC. You will pay.
Let me just say this. Mr. Cummins, good to see you again. Like you said, just a few weeks ago, we met. I'm going to treat this like I told Manette, right? I'm going to treat this much more of a conversation as compared to an interview with you, because I've had the opportunity to speak to you on numerous occasions. And I know in which direction you're moving. I want to start here and deviate just a little bit, Mother, if you will allow me to just deviate a little bit. You are very selfless. As a politician, you are coming in here all hands up. You and I spoke prior to my trip to Liberia. Typical politicians would probably recommend, hey, hold it off a little bit. Let's strangulate the current government and see the failure. Instead, you encourage and push me even further to say it's a good idea. Bring it. Even when I came to Liberia, you did again encourage and continue to push and say, if you have the opportunity, Lofa, invite people, because this is about Liberia. It's not about me, Mr. Cummings. All right. You keep putting Liberia first. And you're in a country where it's literally hyenas simply trying to just take away. Now, there is a disturbing video out there of a young man who purposely chose to malign your character. And he referenced this issue of gay and being gay, not being gay. But Mr. Cummings, you often say to people who support you, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I know I'm not. And you continue to stand and say, let us be bigger than that. Mr. Cummings, what is it about you that put you in that position to feel like you just have to be different from the typical Liberian politician, as I refer to them, and feel like you will still get your message to resonate?
Thank you, Lofa, for those points, and for joining this conversation. Money, I've been having a good chat. So maybe I go back to the fact that I always say, look, I've been very blessed in life. And part of my blessing, I think, is that I'm very comfortable with myself, meaning I know what I know, I know what I don't know. I literally, I don't think though, and I don't want to overstate, because sometimes I get vexed too, I get annoyed with people.
Right.
But I try not to wish anybody ill, Lofa. I have a feeling part of why God has blessed me, and some people call it luck, I think it's blessing, is that when other people are successful, I actually I'm happy for them. If you are successful, you bring business to Liberia, and you're thriving, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for
Am I guilty?
from that.
Can we hold up on that for a second?
Yeah, can we hold off on that, please?
Yeah.
I'm happy for other people. And I often talk about, Lofa, this, like in Liberia, we're in competition, we're in a race, but we're not in a race to the top.
Right.
Like, we're in a race to the bottom. We're trying to put everybody down. And I want us to be in a race. I want to be competing to move the country forward, to move each other forward, right? We should be competing with ideas. Because Liberia is so far behind, we can't afford to be envious and pulling people down. And if I say I want to be president to help Liberia, to help the suffering, then how can I say don't bring businesses? How can I say I want President Boka not to be successful? I can't say that. I can't wish that, because then if you're a smart Liberian, you will say, but they may not serious. On the one hand, you say you want to help us, then somebody try to help us, and you wishing them bad, or you discouraging them for helping us. I hope Liberians understand that difference. You can't say you want to lead the country, you want to help the country, and then somebody doing something good, and you wishing them that they're not successful, or you discouraging them. I can't do that. And so the typical politicians, by the way, even people in my own party, they criticize me. I don't care. If President Boka is successful, that's a good thing for the country, right? If it makes it harder for us to replace him, then that's a good thing. That everybody got to work harder, and that we should be pushing each other, encouraging, pushing, competing for the right reasons to move the country forward. Not
to push each other down, to be what I call in this race, we're racing down to the bottom of the barrel. We should be racing, competing to get to the top, right? And I believe that very sincerely, in my whole life. And I think it's part of my blessing. I support, I encourage, I coach, I give advice to anybody who asks for it. When I criticize the CDC government, when I criticize the UP government, I offer alternatives. And somebody said to me the other day, you keep offering alternatives, they will take some of your alternatives and they will implement it, and then you will make it, you will not have anything else to offer. And I'm like, that's okay. Then I'm going to come up with more ideas. Maybe Julius will help me, or the general will help me with other ideas, right? So we can move this country forward. And I believe that passionately, right? We got to push each other. We got to wish each other well. I believe when you see the glass as half full, there's a different way you think about life as opposed to the glass as half empty. When you're pessimist, even when you have disappointments, for me, I view it, there's a learning in there. And God knows I've had a lot of disappointment in politics. This nonsense, excuse my words, Monier, look for this bullshit about me being gay. It's just complete nonsense, right?
Right.
And the people that know me know that that's complete nonsense, right?
Right.
So yeah, I thank God for that attitude. And it's one of my blessings that my attitude in life is wish everybody well,
But
right?
Miss,
Yeah,
but
go
Mr.
ahead.
Cummings,
Go ahead.
you keep saying, for me personally, and I'm sorry, I'm pushing back on this particular issue, is most Liberian or other will say, I will pursue it in the legal way. But you keep saying, let it go. I want to represent every Liberian. Let the voices be heard. You appear to be okay. Let him learn and let God be the judge. Are you just simply just being Mr. Cummings and forgiving like the typical Liberian, or you just saying he didn't know any better, so let him go with his ignorance? Is that what I'm perceiving here from all indication based on your response?
Yeah, look, I I think we all should take responsibility for where we find ourselves.
Mhm.
And frankly, I didn't do a good job of rebutting and refuting the nonsense about me being gay, and that's on me.
Okay.
And we didn't have the right communications infrastructure machinery, and we to some extent maybe we ignored the issue, and we shouldn't have. That was our mistake, right? Because I think you're right, Lofa. Some people say, "Oh, take the man to court and stuff." First of all, I don't know because everything is so politicized in Liberia. I don't know if I would have even gotten a different outcome, right? Or the correct outcome, right? The system is
Right.
it would have been a waste of time. And then you keep amplifying the issue, right?
Right.
So it's like, just let it go.
Right.
And look, he would get his due. God would decide what happens to him for the lie and the injury he caused me and my family. I mean, I got children and grandchildren. For them
Wow.
to hear that nonsense, right? It was hurtful, to be honest.
Wow.
But posterity, God will be the judge, and people like you, Monier, most Liberians know. I hope some believed it, unfortunately, but most Liberians know that's complete
Right.
nonsense, right?
Right.
But that's my attitude. So thanks for
Thank you.
allowing me to share
So,
how I think about life, and that's just an
thank you.
example. Yeah.
Thank you. And then let me just get this final question out here. Mr. Cummings and Monet, you can come in then, or whoever else need to come on. The challenge ahead of you, it's not an easy one. And if you will admit the current economy in itself is nothing that you can pretend as though you, upon your ascendancy to the presidency in 2 or 3 years, you will easily transform the economy. Okay, with the mindset of Liberian, what template do you have, or mindset do you have to approach it with upon your ascendancy to the presidency, so that you can have a smooth transition in the process, so that Liberian can sense the needed results that is expected, considering everything that is happening today, that you as an economist, and I will label you as an economist because you technically serve in that role. Job, you understand job creation, you understand how to manage a system and make sure that it works and maintain its ability to, keep moving forward. What mindset are you coming with to the presidency to make sure that you have a smooth transition and that the economy, which will be your focus, will start to work?
Yeah, so you know, you're right on the one hand that, and I would be naive or foolish, stupid even, to think that changing Liberia will happen quickly overnight.
Mhm.
But I will also say it can happen faster than we think, right? So it's not so much of a contradiction. It will be hard, it will be difficult, but it can be done. And and when we start the transformation process and people begin to see the results, even their behaviors will change, right?
Mhm.
Quicker than faster than we think. But there are a few things we'll be able to do right away that I think will begin to change the economic dynamic and the suffering in the
Guys,
country.
can you please put that comment
So,
down, please?
so let me give some examples of things we'll do right away that people will see some difference. And again, this is not any particular order, Julius, because we need to do all of these things.
Mhm.
But we will immediately look at increasing the salaries of the people that actually do the work of governments in Liberia, meaning teachers, police people, soldiers, healthcare workers. These basic things. If we right away start to increase their salaries, right, they will have more money to spend. It will create what they call a multiply effect across the country, as opposed to a few people in the legislature, 103 people getting over 50 million United States dollars. You reallocate that money to pay the people that actually work, right? People will see an improvement in their lives right away. That's one. Two, if we provide loans right away within the first 100 days to Liberian businesses, micro loans for market women, for pimping riders, motorcyclists, Yana boys, for small Liberian businesses, right away Liberians start to see some impact on their lives. If we start to use Liberians immediately to start being the people to import on behalf of government, whether the government need furniture, they need vehicles, whatever the government need, use Liberians, they will hire other Liberians, right? Their lives will improve. So there's some short-term things that you can do right away that people will see there's a difference in their lives. And it will help the economy by doing those things, right? A national youth service program, right? Implementing it across the country. That is not a long-term solution to youth unemployment, but it's a bridge. The long-term solution is to fix the economy, but that would take time. So those things in the first year or 2 years, people will see some improvement in their lives, their quality of their lives, right? We'll do those things. Then we'll get to what I call the most structural things, right? How do we fix electricity? How do we continue to expand the road network, running water, technology, the infrastructure stuff? How will you start investing in agriculture? Because that's a great job creator. Uh, how we invest in housing, also a great job creator, right? Tourism. So those things we'll do, we'll start that process, but there's some immediate things we can do. And then you begin to see the economy, the environment, the ability to import your product, not being harassed, to register your business, not being harassed, reducing that stealing, right? We can do it right away, and you begin to see some difference in behaviors. I remember meeting with some senators right after the elections, and one of them said to me, "Mr. Cummings, when other politicians talk about stealing and corruption, we don't take them seriously, but when you talk about it, we take it seriously, right?" And in some ways, that's kind of good and bad. It's mostly good, but it's bad in that there's so many Liberians that benefit from this stealing.
Right.
That I'm a threat. They fear that we want them near that job because, the way we do our hustle, he will stop it, right? And I want to show those people you will still be the hustle. We just change it and you'll do it in a different way, in a better way, that you will benefit and everybody will benefit. and not just you will benefit from your hustle. So actually, everybody will benefit because we'll change the way things are done in Liberia. And look, lastly, and I'm rambling now. Forgive me, guys, but um, we want to organize our country where everybody has the right to the prosperity of Liberia. The simple example I like to use is if you think about the economy as a bowl of rice, because sometimes the economy can be a big word for people, but all Liberians eat rice, so we know what that is, and we all eat from a bowl of rice.
Mhm.
If simply what we want to do is we want to make that bowl of rice bigger, we want to put more rice in the bowl. That's what we call growing the economy. And then we want to guarantee every Liberian the right to put your hand in that bowl of rice. Because General and Lofa, if just think about it, we don't choose our tribe. You don't choose to be Kran, Kio, Basso, Gola, Congo, wherever. You don't choose your tribe. That God. You don't choose when you were born, whether you old or young. I'm the oldest person on this call. That's not a choice. You don't choose your gender, whether you're man or woman, right? You don't choose the religion you're born into, Christian, Muslim, whatever your religion. So those things should not benefit you or they should not work against you because it's not a choice. So every Liberian will have a right to put a hand in our bowl of rice. We don't care about your tribe, your religion, your age, your gender, because it's not a choice. It will not benefit you. It will not harm you. It will not hurt you. You have a right as a Liberian to put your hand in a bowl of rice. The things that should determine whether you can eat from that bowl of rice is things you can control. So if you break the rules, if you rape, you kill, you steal, that's a choice. We're not let you put your hand in a bowl of rice. The justice system will take care of you. But that's a choice. If you are corrupt, again, that's a choice. We'll not let you put your hand in a bowl of rice. If you're lazy, you don't work hard, you will still put your hand there, but you will not take the rest of the rice. You can, if you work hard and you follow the rules, you can eat more of the rest. If you're lazy, right, you will still have a right to put your hand there, but you will not eat much. But that's a choice. That's this. In simple terms, that's the Liberia we want. Everybody should have a right to the benefits of this country. And if you qualify, you should be able to get a job. Whether you ANC, Unity Party, you CDC, right? That's the Liberia we envision. That's the Liberia we aspire to. And that's the Liberia we all should want, right? If, in my bowl of rice example, if that bowl of rice is not growing, if you're not putting more rice in the bowl and you're finishing, it is human nature. Anywhere in the world, people will fight for themselves first, then they will fight for the family, then they will fight for the tribe. It's human nature because the bowl of rice is getting smaller. But if that bowl of rice is getting bigger, we're putting more, and everybody know that doesn't matter who they are, they can put their hand up and eat that rice, it will change the dynamics in the country, right? And this is simple terms, the aspiration we have for our country.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Mane.
You have said it all, Mr. Cummings, and I will go back again. And thanks, Julius, for bringing in some of the questions that people want to hear, and Mr. Cummings answered them throughout. But when I look on your platform again, you talk about education, you talk about health and government of inclusion, and you have already went deep into it. But let's come back to education, Mr. Cummings. Everybody look at Monrovia, and we know that education is the foundation of any successful nation. Now, my question on education: what immediate reform you will introduce to improve schools in Liberia, not even Montserrat, but you go to Grand Gita, we're having a problem there. You go to Maryland, the schools are terrible, especially government schools. We're not talking about private schools, about government schools. What are some of the things that you would tackle first when, if the Liberian people give you the opportunity?
Yeah, so the things we want to focus on, because what I remind people is that leadership or strategy or any of these big words is it comes down to choices. If you try to do everything, you will do nothing well. And it's hard to make these choices, General, because when almost everything needs to be fixed, it's hard to see which one you would do. But that's what leadership is about, is to make choices. And so within education, we said these are the choices we're going to make to focus on, and therefore it will affect education across the country, whether you're in Grand Juda, where we're on the radio today, or you're in Bomi, or you're in Montserrat, or you're in Maryland, you're in Nimba, wherever you are, you're in Magibi, right? First area is what we call teachers education, teachers training. We want to make sure teachers are paid well, and we want to make sure they are trained at all levels, university, high school, middle school, elementary. You want qualified teachers. If you don't have qualified teachers, you will not get good output, good outcomes for your students. And this is across the country. There's a saying that says garbage in, garbage out. So we want qualified teachers trained across the country. So our students, if you're learning engineering, math, whatever you're learning, you want qualified teachers to teach you those things, right? So teachers training. Vocational training is the next priority. And again, what they call it TVET, as we create jobs, as we invest in infrastructure, there will be a need for carpenters, for plumbers, for masons, for electricians, etc. You want to develop those skills, and vocational training is an important part of that. And then we want to put the educational standards in place. So we got a lot of, and again, in some ways, I understand why people do that. They got to create income for us. A lot of schools and universities around the country that frankly are not teaching our young people the right quality of education. We got to put the standards in place and apply it consistently around the country, that if you're high school, this is the standards you got to meet. If you're university, elementary, whatever it is, then we want to put those standards in place across the country, right? So that we improve the educational standards. So whether you're in Grand Juda, you're in Maryland, you're in Cape Town, you're in Bomi, you're in Bassau, the quality should be the same. We got community colleges around the country. Some of them are now called universities. We need to invest in those, and again, make sure the standards in those universities, colleges around the country, community colleges, that the standards are up to snuff. Good trained teachers, good lab equipment, et cetera, et cetera. But today in 2026, gentlemen, I had some young people from university come to see me not too long ago, and they don't have bathrooms on the Fennel campus. People got to go in the bush to relieve themselves. In 2026, in Liberia, 100 and what, 75, 170, whatever our age. How embarrassing, right? Those basic fundamental things, right? I mean, yes, sorry. That cannot be, right? And this is part of the passion I have to get the opportunity to serve Liberians so we can change those things.
Yes, and as I said, we'll be up here for 1 hour, 30 minutes. We'll open the lines. We're going to open the lines because we cannot end this conversation with Mr. Cummings because we can get 110. But what I love you, Mr. Cummings, because you answer, you go to every talk show. You make yourself accessible. People call you, but I don't know what was. So those of you are listening in Grand Juda, Maryland, and other places, we will open the line. But before we open the line, let me ask Mr. Cummings this question about government inclusion. We see other political parties coming to power, and they only appointing their members. They even firing other parties' members. And you talk about government of inclusion, while you look at everybody as Liberian, you don't even look at the tribe. Most of the time, you say that. So, what makes you be different? You show that when you president, people who in the UP, the CDC, the CMC will have the opportunity to work in your administration.
Yeah, look, I think it's important that when people look at their government, and I really believe this fundamentally, right, that they see themselves represented in the leadership of the country and the manifestation of themselves. Some people see themselves as ANCers or seditions or UPS somebody that see themselves based on their tribe. You know, Gribble, Kran, Gola, Gio, Mano, Congo. Some people manifestation of themselves is, you know, their religion, right? So in a government of inclusion, people need to see a representation of the whole country. That gives people confidence that people believe now I got a seat at the table. Somebody I know, somebody like me is in that government. So that means my voice is being heard or my concerns of issues are being heard. It's a if you understand organizations, if you understand how you build teams, if you understand human dynamics, and so how you get the best results to people, you understand that you got to build a team that is diverse. I often say one of my successes in life is I've always built diverse teams. I don't want a lot of people like me. That is not helpful. Is many Alexes, many me. That's not. I want people with different thinking, different perspective, different thoughts, right? And so that diversity of ideas, thoughts, perspectives, right? One is inspiring for the Liberians to see themselves represented there, but you get different, better results when you have a diversity of opinion. And the changes in Liberia required is so fundamental that we need everybody to be involved and understand why we're making the changes we're making, why we're making the choices, because we're not going to be able to do everything at the same time. That's not possible. That's not practical, right? And if you have multiple voices, they can explain to their constituents why we're making the choices we're making at this point in time, and that will also help with this, you know, this change process. The country is a young country, right? So many people in a communist government would be relatively young. The young people are 70% of the population. They got to be represented, right? We have some old people like myself with some experience there, because you need both. But the dynamism, the energy, the innovation will come from the young people, right? And it's that combination of young forward thinkers with some old people like myself that will be the power, right? And everybody being represented, every perspective, right? It is not what they call a zero sum game. I win, you lose. It can be a win win. You know, everybody can win in this process, and that's the philosophy. That's the perspective we want to bring to government. And lastly, you didn't ask this, but it's a major part of how I think about leadership and government is we're going to decentralize the government over time. We're going to move more resources, more authority to the counties, to the districts, right? Again, not overnight, but we'll systematically decentralize, and then put accountability, right? Because the person sitting in, Hapa, right? The president is far away, but they can go to the house of the mayor or to the superintendent to demand, to come fix my water, my road, my electricity, because the country will know, the people in Hapa will know we're not getting the resources now. You go put pressure on them if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? So that local accountability will help to change the country faster and quicker as well, because the president is far away, right? Multiple layers to get to him or her, but he can get closer to the mayor or the superintendent. And that decentralization will be part of the change we'll
So
bring
we're
to
going
our
to
country.
decentralize our government. The last one,
Monet,
I always ask,
But I beg you, let me do this. I'm enjoying the conversation. So now I'm going to push Mr.
okay.
You can open up the phone lines, though. You can open up the phone line, but let me squeeze these two quick questions in there because
No,
this
before you
community
squeeze it, let me
mentioned
just
something.
you will answer it along with your own. Mr. Cummings, you promised that you do not take no salary, but I hope you get your salary to Julius and myself. But you promised that you will not take salary.
You stole
Some
my
people say
question.
maybe Mr. Cummings get another place to eat. So what are you giving this salary to Julius and myself? Who are you giving it to? Let's hear from you.
Yeah, no, well, I will not take a salary. I'm very consistent with that. Again, I go back to the fact that I'm a blessed human being. I thank God every day. And I'm not seeking the presidency. There's nothing physical in the presidency that I need or want. That job for me, Lofa and Munir, that job is a means to an end. The job is not the ambition. The ambition is to change Liberia for the benefit of all Liberians. And the job allows you to do that. The job gives you the authority, the constitutional authority and responsibility to do that. So the job, I'm not ambitious just to be president, to be president. Again, whether it's the cars or the flying the private planes or the halls, I've either had that or I can have it. That's not the appeal or the salary, right? I'm not going to the job hungry. I've been blessed. I use that word, right? So the job is what I call a means to an end. It's not the ambition. The ambition is to change the country, and the job allows you to do it, right? So I will not take the salary. We'll allocate that salary to some charity. At one point, I said maybe we'll allocate it to help fight corruption. I think the other resources that we can use to fight corruption, we'll allocate it to some charity, maybe something education, right? Because I have a passion for education, but I will not use it for my personal well-being, my personal living. I don't need it. I've been blessed, but we're allocated to some charitable cause. And if you guys are destitute at some point in time, maybe we'll help you out with the salary as well. I don't wish
like
that
that.
on you.
Okay, we're gonna open
But
the
but
line.
if you are, you and I, the three of us here, I hope you guys know this. I mean, compared to our average fellow Liberians, we are blessed.
I take
I mean,
that.
seriously, right? And I know you're joking about it, but if you become destitute again, I will make sure you're on a list of people to get part of that salary.
But Mr. Cummings,
we can open the lines.
yeah, guys, you can open up the line. Hopefully, Mr. Cummings
And
can
the
answer
guy,
this question while the phone
Abraham,
calls come through.
You can open the lines in Grand Jita. I know sometimes we'll have a feedback, and once you open it, when ready to unmute yourself, and also in radio, open the lines.
Before you open the lines, Abraham, before you open the lines, I got one major question for Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings, this question is about your team. Yes. During the last election, many people felt that your team did not perform at its best. As we look ahead to 2029 election, what should Liberians expect from your camp? Will we see the same team and strategy, or should the public expect a new approach and strong organization?
Yes, very good question, Tuzon. And Liberians will see a very different team. They will see some former team members,
Okay.
but they will see mostly new team members, right?
All right.
It will be a combination of both. Tuzon, great question. Look, I don't blame the team for our lack of success. I blame myself. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me, right? So I don't want to blame anybody. But as I also said earlier, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. We will do some things differently. We have many new and different team members, and we have a few of the old team members. It will be that combination that will make the difference in the future. So many new ones, many younger ones, and a few of the old ones for continuity would be part of the team. Great question. Good question, Tusa.
Great question.
Great question. Open the phone lines, and I will put a line up. Maybe Julius, if you get numbers again, if anybody call you,
I'll make my number for those that are following. They can call my number.
Tucson and Grand Jita, Tap FM. Can you open the line? Sheku was supposed
to I think we'll get it. Okay, we lost this one. So number to call.
Can we open a line from Grand Jita?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, that pick up our first caller. Good evening.
Very low.
All is kind of low.
I'm coming. Yeah, Emmanuel Doe, welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello, are we live? Are the panelists getting us?
You are live. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Thank you. My name is retired Captain Emmanuel S. Doe, otherwise known as Bedekatu. You don't force, but you compare to do the right thing. And let me say the pleasant good evening to Cummings, Arizona, Benedict, Mr. Welcome to this platform. I have two questions.
Go ahead quickly.
Will you be prepared and willing to contribute in the development and growth of our country if you be called upon by President Joseph Bakar like an appointment position? Second question, in light there, you should always create room for disappointment. What will happen in 2029 you shall lose the election. Are you going to continue contesting just as did Mr. Weir George in 2005, 2011, before 2017 you got elected as president? Are you also going to follow that trend? These are my two questions. And again, have
All
a
right.
blessed evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
0881 14 35 04 0776 105 105. This person, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
You have to be audible. Your name, where you call from?
Yes, I'm Thomas Area Johnny from Benji. Sorry to be precise.
Quickly, let's hear you.
Yes, I have two questions for Mr. Kumi.
Go ahead.
All right, my first question goes like this. If you're having to win the president post, which are the first development?
Are you there? Okay, let's take another person. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nia, where you call from?
What is a call for bone content?
What is your name? Quickly, let's hear you.
I'm J.L. Johnson.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question for our presidential candidate, Mr. Kumi. Our first question had to do with for his deliberation. You have all of these strategies and ideas regarding security and that of civil service salary increment. Do you think it is not prudent as of, let's say, incoming president to subscribe to the present government to, come up with those strategies and ideas that will enhance the process to make the government to enhance development, salary payment, increasement, and employment?
What's the
But you
next
kept it to
question?
yourself. And my next question had to do with, are you waiting for you to become a president before you subscribe to ideologies and knowledge for the development growth for Liberia?
Thank you. We pick up another person. Good evening.
My dear brother.
Please be audible.
I'm G. Arizona talking about the first.
Welcome to the show. Let's hear you, Arizona.
Okay, I want to say that thank you for the exposure instead of the honorable comment. I want you change the formulas around this come around 2029.
To change.
Some of us will not. These formulas around 2029.
Okay.
For the past election, we knew what unfolding and what went on wrong. So the basis that you're going to set, don't allow people who was like ordering themselves so-called leader loyalty. They might not be the one to influence you again. When you not got a technical know grand leader candidate, some of us today we are available. We will show you the way, the lead way of running grand leader campaign. We are not discussing any country because these people back there, they are deceitful people. And we knew what they did at the times because they were chasing motorbikes, they were chasing T-shirts, they were chasing other things. But for us, we were sincere in the ring. They leveled because they know that we're going to expose that wicked deeds. So hold up, and we will always come together when it comes to the time.
All right.
My number is available anytime you want to pick it up. You can pick it up. We will show you the way in Grio Travel all the 3 days so that in Grand that will carry you to
Thank you.
Abraham, can that brother number be taken? That brother number be taken?
Whether we should take his number?
Yeah, take his number. Take his number.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes, please.
Just call your number quickly, my brother.
777
Yeah.
55
Mm-hmm.
75
75
66.
66. All right. Thank you. We pick up another person. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my fellow compatriot.
Welcome. Let's hear your name and where you come from.
I joined you from the borough of Kuta, Mr. Tapper, and I want to commend you for at least having a relay station in the country of my origin.
Go ahead. Let's hear you, my brother. Quickly.
How are you, Mr. Ikuben? My question to you, you are a pioneer of the Point4 community. There are plans on the way before the election to have some structure or some developmental give back to your community origin, that is the Point4 community. But my last question, because Liberia, we attract a whole lot of people from the political aspect, you from the private sector. I'm praying that one of these days we change the dynamic. But when you come to power, what will be those first agenda placed into place for the benefit of the private sector? Because with all those things, without the private sector, there's no way we can grow as citizens of this country.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Another person. Good evening. We lost expression that pick up this caller. Good evening. Are you there? Your name, where you come from?
Yeah, good evening. How you doing? This is Aloysius. I'm calling from Discovery.
Welcome to the show. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm really happy to hear my political leader, Alexander Dekumi. You know, I want the strong support in Grand Gile. I serve as the vice chair of operation for Grand Gile. So always speak on the one myself confide in the one I'm supporting him. So I thank you for him speaking on the radio in Grand Gile. For me, I'm very consistent to support him. So you can take my number again, and when you call me,
all right,
stay behind and then you can win. And you say you're not contesting, you're not doing, but so that you're contesting, I'll say support him and drink the country.
Thank you.
Let's take that number again, please.
Yeah, I already got a number here. 0881-1435-04. This person. Good evening.
Hello, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. Your name, where you come from?
Well, this is Friday Card Dennis from, I don't know, Uncle Bank calling.
Quickly, let's hear you.
Okay, boss. I don't have 3 questions I have in studio.
I think one or two will be okay.
My first question is, people always say that you can apply the mud on the old mud. I want to ask you a question. When last did he talk with President Helen? Also, when last did he talk with President Weah? The second one is, does a woman have love? Thank you, sir.
What do you have, love?
Yeah, love, L-O-V-E.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You will respond to all of your questions. 0881-1435-04.
Okay, I think I need to go to the line.
Yeah, quickly go ahead. We got a lot of calls.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, welcome to the
Prince Taribo calling from ERWS Mayor Community.
All right, go ahead.
I listen to my uncle ABC. What I want to do, I need him to come in the community, the ordinary people, to be able to speak to them. Now, every time you be on platform, what I look at to now, listening to radio to them. So at least, sometimes take time in the community and decide to change his team like well with in the 2023 election. We are waiting to work with him. With him. Thank you, brother.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Abraham.
Okay, to this person. Good evening.
Good evening.
Nia, where you call from?
I'm Jackson, calling from Soul Clinic.
Welcome, Jackson. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I just want to tell the incoming president thank you because of his message. He has inspired me. You know, I'm a bona fide UPS, but due to the message that I'm hearing, I changed my mind because the two-party system is very killing this country. Because I don't know what the two-party system found us. Everybody man just on the 2 people. And they can on nowhere. We can't continue complaining on the 2 people, but just continue doing one thing over and over again. We're going nowhere. As the senator just said. So I think we'll have to make our mind and all the way around. Thank you for following me.
Thank you so much. Thank you ever so much, my brother. 0881-1435-04, 0776-105-105. This person, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Nia, where you call from?
The name me a question the visitor and I join you from my body.
Welcome. Let's hear you quickly. No time.
Oh, I have one question. Thank you to our incoming honorable for 2029. But I want to ask you one question. In Liberia, we understand that when there is politics time, we have about 20 to 20 some political parties in this country. But now, as we stand, only CDC and Unity Party ruling this country. Okay. So where he stand coming 2029, that he will continue his party, or in Liberia now, in the various country, who he can appoint to say, oh, if you want to see Kumi, party or headquarters, go to this place, then you will see or come party headquarters in Grand Jere or in the various counties.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. You will respond to your question. This question. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, where you come from?
Yeah, this is 16 Peace Blewa calling you from Street, Monrovia.
Yeah, okay, speak louder. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Kubi. And what I want to ask Mr. Kubi, whenever we over here in this country, we come on the street on the radio, we talk good thing. At the end of the day, when we get in power, we change our attitude. So, Mr. Kumi, will you not be one of those, Mr. Kumi?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Another question. Good evening.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Just
evening.
one more question.
We
We
got
have 1 hour 30 minutes.
supermarket.
We got no more time. I'm going to have to answer the question. So
Yeah,
the person will bring Mr. Cummings
incoming question,
on a
Mr.
later date.
Alexander Kumi.
Are you there? Okay, let's take the last caller, then we'll get back to the panelists. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Nia, where you call from?
PMC,
Please speak louder.
I'm where you join from here, Baba.
Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for your season guest. My first question has to do with whether Kumi have mind for the country.
What do you have mind for the country?
Of course.
The last one, quickly.
That's only one question.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Just mute yourself there so the feedback. And Mr. Cummings, I think you listen to the people, especially from Grand Jere County. So I think they put in Monrovia, but we'll bring it on one day again. It will be the prime time. And this show will be replayed tomorrow. It will be played by, if you're in Liberia, listen to it again by 10 o'clock. It will be on tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So thank you, Munir, Lofa, Abraham, and Tucson. And as you said, Munir, we'll come back on. This will not be our only interaction. We can agree some frequency, maybe it's every other month or something, whatever makes sense. So I want your listening audience to, if you didn't get to ask your question, you'll have a chance in the future. I commit to that. So let me just go down the list. I captured some of the names and not all the names, but there was Emmanuel Doe. Look, Emmanuel, I am willing to contribute to the development of our country in multiple ways. As I said earlier, I've offered a lot of different options and alternatives in the past, the CDC government, the UP government, advice, alternatives, different ways to help. I help personally. Again, there's a long list of things we've done to try to impact our people in our country, whether it's in education, it's in healthcare, it's in entrepreneurship. So we are very open to helping, and we have demonstrated our commitment to our country, to helping our people, and to contribute to the development of Liberia. Your other question was, if I'm not successful in 2029, first of all, it is a life lesson. I never go into a situation not expecting to be successful. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. When I ran 2017, I wanted to, I expected to win. Did 2023, same thing. 2029, I'm going to do everything I can to win. That's the expectation. But I think I've shown genuine commitment here. At some point, you have to accept the fact that maybe it's not meant to be, right? And then you go do something else. You find different ways to help the country, etc. So let's get to 2029. We'll decide what happens beyond that. There was, I think, G.L. Johnson question about, again, suggestions to government. And again, I have a record of doing that. And through my interviews in writing, I think I addressed that earlier. We always offer suggestions to how we can improve and change our country. And as I've said before, whichever government is in power, we want them to be successful. If that means the suffering in our country is being reduced, because that's why we want to get in the government, to reduce the suffering. And so if it's happening and our suggestions help in that process, it's okay. If it makes it harder for us to replace them, that's a challenge I'm happy to take on because I think it will improve Liberia. G. Alexander, thanks for offering to help us. We got your number, 777-557-566. I think you're already supportive of us, so we'll reach out to you. Thank you for that. There was a question about point 4 community and my private sector agenda. Yeah, look, I think it's a good point. We probably need to do something in point 4. But I remind Liberians, though, if you believe the results of the last election, right, which, 1% I think is nonsense, but okay, that's the result, right? The people that won, the people that came in first and second, I'm not sure what they did in their communities that Liberians voted for them, right? And even, even now, in the past, and now with state power, I'm not sure what they do in their communities. So I don't think that's a reason why people vote for you, by the way. It doesn't hurt. And again, we got a track record of doing stuff across the country, and we'll continue to try to help in any way we can. But I get the point about maybe doing something in point 4. And the private sector agenda, I think it was Tapper from Kutam, very clear. I mentioned it earlier to Manier's question and to Lofa's question about how we need to change the environment, the judicial environment, the corruption, make it easier to register businesses. All of those things are what we will do to get the environment conducive for the private sector to thrive and be successful, particularly the Liberian private sector. Our VCO from Grand Julia, let me thank you for calling for your comment. There was a question from, I think, Dennis about, have I spoken to former presidents? The answer is yes. I speak to Mr. Sirleaf occasionally. I speak to President Weah occasionally. I speak to President Boycott occasionally. Those are all people. I think as leaders in the country, we should know each other. They are not my enemies. We're all Liberians. I think we all mean well for the country. We have different approaches. So I know all of them, and occasionally I speak to them as well. He asked about my love. My love is my wife, Teresa, over 40 years. We've been married, 2 children, 5 grandchildren. And yes, my love in terms of my personal, emotional, my life mate, my soulmate is Teresa. But I have other loves. I like cars. I like to dance. I like good food. I like a cigar every now and then. So I got other, I won't call them loves, but I have other likes, things I enjoy to do. I enjoy traveling, different experiences, etc. So those are all things. I was asked a question once about my favorite Liberian food, and I gave a list. And they said, but what's your favorite? They won't ask you for the list. So I guess my favorite is fufu and soup, even though that wasn't a question I was asked. Prince, I think from the Ewa community, wants me to visit communities and meet ordinary Liberians. And I have done that, and we'll do more of that in the future, Prince. So we take the suggestion, and we've done that in the past, and we'll do it in the future. I think Jackson called and was complimentary, supported. Jackson, I want to thank you for your comments. Augustine, I think talking about collaboration, maybe other parties, we're open to collaboration. We've learned from our experience in the CPP, but we're open to collaboration going forward. We'll just do it differently. And we're going to activate our county offices around the country in the not too distant future. So whether in Grand Julia or all the other counties, will start to activate our county offices and bring them alive. And the question about, people promise and then they get to office and they change their minds. I think Monier asked that at the beginning. I think, again, you look at my history of what I've done, what I tried to do, even as a private citizen, my commitment to Liberia, I think it's clear. I'm one person who I'm very careful not to make promises that I can't keep, even in my personal life. If I can't do something, I'm honest to tell people I can't do it. I can't help you. I don't let go come, treat people with disrespect. So I have a history of keeping my word, keeping commitments. And I think Liberians can be assured. And again, the best way to tell what somebody will do in the future, how they will behave, how they will perform, is what they've done in the past. And I think my record stands shoulder, heads and shoulder above anybody else's. But let me end again by thanking all of you for hosting me this evening. I enjoyed the conversation. Maybe before I get off, I know there was a question Lofa wanted to ask, and the general kept cutting him off. So maybe we'll give Lofa the chance to ask his question, and then I will say a few words to close, and then we'll come back in the not too distant future, General. But Lofa, what was your question? You're muted. You're muted.
You know, the general he just being a general. So I took it with you know, just goof it and I'll move on. But let me just say my question, Mr. Cummings, was actually, and I'll post two of them to you at once. One is, you often speaking of the issue of merit. You will not reward people for supporting you. All right. You often say that. You say, you don't support me if you think you're supporting me for job. If that's why you're supporting me, put your hands up and just let it be, because that would not be why I would give people opportunity for job. It would be based on merits. My question to that is, don't you think, considering the society we find ourselves in, could be to some extent much more of a hurt to your campaign, even though you're just being honest and based on principle? And secondly, the next question will be, right now, Liberia found herself in a position where we need to be reformed. We need a complete reform of the system, and in so many ways. Mr. Cummings, can you tell Liberian, where have you experienced reform, and how influential were you in the reform process? Where did you participate? How did you influence that process? And what was the result? So those two questions, please.
So, yeah, look, we have to develop a merit-based country. By the way, it doesn't mean it's not either or.
Okay.
Right? Meaning you can have a merit-based country, merit-based process, and you can reward your supporters. You have to do both. It's not one or the other. So I make no apologies about the fact that we're going to reward our supporters. So you people living in the U.S., you guys do, you Munir, in this country, I don't know, people don't realize is there's patronage in the U.S. government at the federal level, the state level, the local level, right? When the Democrats come to power, the Democratic people, when the Republicans come to power, right? But they also qualify. It's not either or. So everywhere in the world, you reward your supporters for supporting you. So I don't want my supporters to say, "Oh, I just supposed to come in and you will get all the UP or citizen for the jobs," right? But being merit based and supporter, they're not mutual. It's not either or. I don't know. I'm making sense. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah. It's not mutual.
We can do both. But we have to have. Look, you can't have. Say the general is my supporter. Say Lofa is not. But Lofa is eminently more qualified, and Munir is not even close to being qualified. In that scenario, we just because Munir, we're not giving Munir the job. Maybe we'll find another job that he's qualified for, right? So we are rewarding him for his support. But for this particular job, even though Lofa didn't support me, he is the most qualified by far, and I'm going to give it to Lofa, right? But then I will take care. I will find a job that Munir can do. Or maybe Munir wants to go back to school, or he wants to start a business, right? The micro loans we talk about, Munir can get one of those loans and start a business, right? So we can do both, is the point. Your question about reform, look, to make change in any organization, and when I ran Coca-Cola Africa, I ran the entire Africa group of the Coca-Cola company. And people say, oh, the private sector is not government. I will tell you where there's similarity between the two, right? First of all, whether it's in government or it's in the private sector, you have to be clear on what change you want to make, what reform you want to make. Okay. What is your goal? That clarity, you got to understand, and everybody got to know, right? So the country, the voters got to know the change you're going to make, you promise. And in business, your customers, your consumers got to know that, right? Then you got to find the resources to do it. So whether you're in government or you're in business, you gotta find the resources to make the change, to fund the change. Then you gotta build the team, whether in government, whether it's your cabinet or the state-owned enterprises in business, whether it's your country manager or your HR or your strategy or your technical, you gotta build a team to deliver, those results. And then you gotta be consistent and persistent. You gotta hold people accountable, hold them responsible. You gotta reward good behavior, punish bad behavior, reward success, punish failure, etc., right? So you do those things whether in the private sector or in the business world. And in the business world, many examples. The ones that maybe closer to home is when I ran Coca-Cola Africa. We more than double earnings. We grew volumes. We introduced new products. Our team, the team that was managing the group were mostly expats when I took over. In 3 years, I ran the group for 7 years. We have mostly Africans leading the group, leading this transformation. So real life example of where a business was doing okay, not great, and we made it perform extremely well. And as a result, I got promoted to a global role around the world. But it was being clear on the strategy, clear on the objective, building the team, holding the team accountable, giving them the resources, challenging them to get the reform. It was not easy. It was not happen overnight, but it can be done. And a real life example. And I got the benefit in terms of the promotions we have, but the business, the shareholders of the company, it will be the voters of Liberia will see the benefit from the reforms we'll make to move Liberia forward. So, gentlemen, look, thank you, Abraham. Thank you from Grand Juliet, Tucson. Thank you from Kia Morovia, Top in Grand Juliet. General, thank you. Lofa, we appreciate this conversation. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to coming back, many more conversations, and to just say to Liberians, we can do better. We can change our country. I know things are challenging now, but it will get better, can get better, different choices, different kind of leaders. We can change our country, and I look forward to keeping this conversation going with other independent minds as we move towards 2029. So thank you. God bless you all. God bless Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. Have a blessed day, and we hope to talk again. Okay, you can leave now, Mr. Cummings. We'll just be here for the next. And Abraham, I know at what time have we spent, but how you see Mr. Cummings' interview? What are some of the things that you heard that the people in the ring might take to?
Yeah, he spoke on so many things, but one thing that many people have been raising concern, Liberia politics, sometimes they like to interact with politicians face to face, so that they will be very close to the person. Sometimes the radio appearance is also helped, but the face to face interaction is also important. Because most often we most especially people in the southeastern part of Liberia, for Grand Gide and River G and other places, Mr. Kumi hardly come on the side, to spend time or to even take community visitations and all that kind of stuff. And these are key things many people are also been pushing, so that he can also be able to find time, like other politicians are also doing, to come and visit the people, know their problem, and see whether you can start working on some of these things. It will also help, to sell a political idea to the community. Other people, upon a visitation, they will also be excited to see whether they can take that ride, to join the movement as well. So I think that will also be good from his side. Yeah, definitely.
You still got people trying to call?
No, not we don't have quarters for now.
Okay, good. All right. So
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, on Top FM is on Saturday and Sunday, and the Independent Minds is 5 days a week on the Kia Radio. So tomorrow morning you will join us on the Kia Radio again in the morning, and I will rerun this program between 10 to 12 o'clock. I will rerun this program. So you can, I think your time is over now, and football.
Sure.
Okay, thank
Sure.
you very much for your time.
for your time.
We will keep in touch
We will
with
keep
you.
in touch with
This is a
you.
long
This is
haul.
a
We
long
here for up
haul.
to
We have for up
2029.
to 2029.
So you will
So
enjoy
you
it
will
and
enjoy
we all
it
enjoy
and
it
we all
together. Thank
enjoy
you
it
very much,
together. Thank
guy.
you very much, guys. Thank you so
And
much.
Tuzo, let me hear
And
from you.
Tuzo, let me
What's
hear
going
from you
on?
there. What's going on?
Ah,
This is how we go home on this edition of the program. Independent Minds for a Better Liberia. Next Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're going to be here. And Sunday, 10 o'clock, we're also going to be here with another fresh edition of the program. The name is D. Abraham Cooper Sr. And I'm out for now. Have a wonderful time. Keep listening to Top FM for the very best we have to offer you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Tuzo, what's
yeah,
going on in Monrovia? A lot of people sleeping, because what happened? Why didn't call?
yeah. People are sleeping because the time here is almost 16 minutes after 12 o'clock. It's almost in the morning hour. Yes, midnight.
But what happened the other day? They were calling. They were calling because they were looking for the data money. So they were
N-
calling like hell.
No, but most of the people call on the Grand Julian number because you were listening to most of the callers are calling for 1.4. Lucky
Yeah, I saw.
Town.
Yeah, I noticed that some of them called the Grand Julian number two,
Yeah.
and that was it. Okay, and I see Mr. Cummings is out now. A lot of people dropping off. Okay, let me hear
Yeah.
from Lofa. Lofa, how was this interview? How was this conversation with Mr. Cummings today? How you see it?
Well, Manette, to be honest with you, like I said, my mindset that I approached this with was much more conversational, right? I did not come out here to set up an interview to say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm trying, because I've had an opportunity to really engage Mr. Cummings one on one, and he also spoke to that. I was sincerely convinced, coming from a political, a political leader in Mr. Cummings, my expectation or what I thought initially when I engaged Mr. Cummings prior to the trip to Liberia, for the most part, politicians are somehow some kind of selfish. All right. My expectation was he would have been like, well, Lofa, how can we plan this thing out in a way maybe we can push it maybe close towards election time? He didn't do that. Instead, he encouraged and pushed the idea and said, Liberians need this right now, especially the young people. So everything that you can do, in fact, when you get here, give me a call. Let's sit, let's talk, let's see how I can help. I was like, wow, this guy is not thinking like a politician. When we got there, again, with our visitor, he again availed himself. Okay. I'm not saying this man as the typical Liberian politician. And I think that is one thing that probably could be taken away from him because he's not being the typical politician. But most Liberians want people to just change themselves overnight. And
Yep.
for some people, they will not change, not because you want to be favored. So a person should change themselves overnight. And that's who he is. He's simply saying to you, like the response to the last question I posed, don't you think this could take away from the camp when you tell people it would be merit based? Most Liberians don't believe in this merit based system. They want to be rewarded for supporting your campaign. And he said, well, I'm not telling you you're not going to get reward, but I'm telling you you will not be given job that you would not be qualified for. That in itself tells you that Mr. Cummings understands how to create a system. He understands how to maintain a system, and he understands how to develop, even when it's already in existence. He understands how to develop it and make it beyond what it is. And I think this is what Liberia is in dying need of: a man who understands how to do. This is not just simply because I'm popular. Mr. Cummings is not telling you because of his popularity. Here it is an individual, money, who's telling you, I don't want your money. You don't have to pay me. Don't give me your salary, because the salary that will be given to me will go towards the fight against corruption. Another thing that most Liberians will always say, I think they will frown against, because we all have relatives in government, okay? And because of that, we don't want our relatives to be prosecuted. So when we start hearing Mr. Cummings say, hey, the salary will be used towards the fight against corruption, people start to be afraid. But they're not thinking that this is about the true transformation of Liberia. We want to move Liberia forward. How can we move Liberia forward? It is about moving Liberia forward. And Manette, to be honest with you, this is what I will consider one of the last opportunities that Liberians have. If we don't take advantage of this opportunity to really put ourselves on the right trajectory, the Ghanaians will continue to make mockery of us. But like the last video, I listened to a lady who said, "You guys are not even at our level yet." That is insulting. But we have those with what it takes to put us beyond the Ghanaians level. But we are not dwelling on that. We are instead focusing on tribal line, political affiliation, and hiring people who are incompetent and expecting the best out of them. I think it was a great conversation. Mr. Cummings was himself very engaging and continue to accept some level of critique and going forward. I think this is a good thing.
Yeah, you said it all, and he's just a different guy. And you know something? One of the questions I asked, and you myself talk about it on the show the other day. You know, when you hear somebody saying that I don't want salary, and you know, Liberians, because our politricker, our politics, our politicians, they lie so much to the people until Liberians don't believe you when you say these things. And this guy is so consistent about this.
Right.
Even when you listen to his rebuttal to the State of Union, you know that what he got in his agenda is the same thing he's still talking about. And he believed that when we do this, this is what will happen. You just talk about that video. The person will below that standard as truth. Why would you want to argue? Let give them so yes, they arrested the people, but we have done Latin. We need to be brave. We need to be strong. We need to take the risks if we want to move Liberia. And you said something again. You went to Liberia to do something before you discuss with him, which is true. Other greater politicians will say, "My man, just wait. Don't do this now. Wait for maybe in 2029. Then you come and boost me." But he said, "No, go ahead and do it." And other people asking questions whether you spoke to Madam Salif, and this was the same way. You see, the news don't go all over. So the person that asked that question is already ingrained in there. Don't listen to the news in Monroe. You can't blame them because of the kind of country that we have. People don't really know what's going on. Mr. Cummings had a whole trip with Mr. Boaka, went to watch the county meet. He visited Mr. Weir. He talked to Madam Salif. So now we got to start letting people know. And you see some of the questions I asked him whether he paid WIAC fees. Everybody in Liberia don't know, but Mr. Cummings paid 2 times. He paid WIAC fee for students. He gave them tutoring. He did everything. And now he coming out of his show because that's what the people want to see. And now anything you do, you got to let people know. Boy, it was a great thing. And he always cool. And I like the way we do. We had a conversation. It's not even an interview. And we will bring him on again because he will be on the show. He will be on other platforms. But it was great. And I enjoy it. I can just listen to him talk the whole day. And I pray that Liberians will understand. Guys, if you listen to me, you're in the community and you're listening to us, let us give him the time. Let us give him chance. Let us do whatsoever to make sure that Liberia come from A to B. Let us get out of that circle because that is what we've been doing for the last 20 years. We will pretend like we're getting our bump. We'll go right back. Let us get a new trouser. Let us start patching the same old trouser. Let us move forward. That is what we say. When we're talking about leaders, you would never forget. If we're talking about honesty, Alex Cummings' name will be there. If we talk about integrity, his name will be there. We're talking about politicians now. We're not just talking about ordinary citizens. We're talking about people who want to extend to that position. So if we're talking about integrity, empathy, honesty, you got to see the name Alex Cummings. So that is why we always call his name. It's not that he must be, but you listen to yourself. And so that's it. Tomorrow morning, Julius, and we will rerun this again, but we'll be on. If you have the time to join me tomorrow, I appreciate it. And it will be the time changed now. So it looked like instead of
we I kind of it got pushed an hour behind.
I will still come 5 o'clock. Yeah, I will still come 5 o'clock, and it was just the time, man.
Well, but Manette, let me just say this though. In closing, I want to just admonish all of you and every other Liberian who have now seen for themselves the reason to not wait to be a member of a political party to see reason to be a part of the process. Okay. I often say these things to people. And that's why when I'm on here, when people are calling in and saying, hey, I want to get I first and foremost ask for their number because I want to engage these people. Whatever, I am a member of the ANC and I don't care. First of all, I don't even care about the ANC. I care about an individual that I see, and then I will hold the institution later. Because if you focus on the institution, the cries and everything else will just serve as a deterrent. You will not do what you want to do. Okay, you would not be like people who are taking upon themselves. All right, and then I hate to say his name out here publicly, but I will say it. Like, Dude came back and said, you know what? I'm not going to focus on the party politics. I'm out of this. I'm going to focus on my individual work. I'm going to focus on how I can support Mr. Alexander Cummings and other young people who are doing the same thing. Follow the same trend. Don't wait for nobody to reach out to you. Do your thing in the best interest of Liberia, because that is how the future will actually dictate how we go. Like me, I'm not a member of the ANC, and I say this all the time with both faiths. I'm not a member of the ANC, but I am a supporter of Mr. Alexander Cummings because I believe in his ability to do things. His name have been able to open doors for so many people. So why don't you just take advantage of this? You have the gold in your hands. Instead of going after a rock, make advantage or take advantage of the gold that you have in your hands. And that's all I say to people. Let's do that. We all can do it from our individual standpoints and individual perspective. We all can make sure that we succeed.
Yes, you're right. So guys, we have come to the end of this edition. Today, the Independence Mind for a Better Liberia. And when independent minds come together, we do greater things. And this is where we come to the end. I love you all. Those of you in Liberia, I love you. The radio is the thing. And we'll continue tomorrow. Same time, same station. Follow me. These are some of the sacrifices that we go through. But because of Liberia, we continue. There. And Julius, according to him, he received ticket. But I will call a police guy and let him know. And maybe he will not.
You pay that ticket fee.
In fact, don't worry. Listen, don't worry. I will raise the money right here. Please, guys. Julius Lofa was speeding, and they gave him ticket. Please, y'all can cash app him. Look, sometimes you got to do these things. And Tiola, don't tell me you don't get money on you. All these people, you're plenty. Mr. Alfred Bleedy, all of your brother Stewart, please. And in fact, the only person I can. She's the only one when I call, she will do it right now. Brother, if you listen to me, I want you to please cash out Julius $100. I don't know how much they're going to charge him, but I'm sure he gets on a police girlfriend. But anyway, cash app him $100 that he paid towards the ticket. And Tila can give the balance. And everybody up here.
You ain't caught Theoda, you caught Bertha. I see.
No, Bertha the best person. Tiola will not do it. She will not do it because she will overlook me. She will not even do it for you.
Oh, really?
No, she don't want to do it. She don't want to do it. But brother, forget it. If I talk to brother now, she would do it in no time.
You see, Joseph, what Joseph Canto said. Joseph Canto said, I will have to go to court. In fact, he will support my incarceration. You see that?
So they won't see you behind bars, my man. Hey, yo, listen.
You see, I told you.
So, brother, I can't believe so the thing Lofa talking are true.
I told you. You had a chance. You had a chance. You look, follow my footstep. I would have said,
no.
Theola. You could. How you started with Theola?
Okay,
maybe you had a better chance, but you ruined it. You ruined the whole thing.
What you did to the girl? Because the girl never turned me down, my man. Where Theola? Ma, that you would depend. Just say $100 to Lofa and let him pay his ticket money. I beg you.
Oh man.
What is it again? That's it.
Do you listen?
They say you are not chairman for ANC, but you chairman for the convention. They know that because of neutrality, that would be you chairman.
Oh, you see, that's a problem. You see, I'm glad that Solomon Sander actually mentioned this. It is because of my neutrality that I was actually selected to serve in that position. See, that's something that is missing in most Liberian or political organizations. They are afraid of independent folks to be a part of the process. When UP is doing things, when they're organizing the conventions, they would rather just have UP members. I serve as a chair because they felt that, again, my independence will help get the needed result. So yes. So again, maybe a lot of you don't understand these things. Right here, when I supported Barack Obama, all right, I was never a member. I was not a member or a registered member, okay, of the Democrats. So I did voluntarily. When my son supported Kamala Harris, he was never a member of the the Republican Party. What we need to understand these simple things, and I think in fact, I was in bed when I was given the call. I had no idea how the decision was made. I was only reached out to and said, Lofa, I guess you were recommended to serve in this capacity. Would you? And I said, okay, I will do it. So, Solomon, I am not a member of the ANC. No, I am not a member of the ANC. A member of the ANC carries that identification and pay their dues. If you're not a due-paying member of that institution, you're not a member. Thank you.
Okay, those of you who are listening to us, don't forget the LRB Feature TV is live on Care Radio, and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day from Monday to Thursday. Friday is 10 o'clock, I think, 10 o'clock. So don't forget LRB TV and also the Independent Minds, and you will hear good stuff from Liberia when it comes to the economy, it comes to justice, it comes to police, education, and everything. So we're still, but Julius, again, I saying that I will talk to Catherine. I know Catherine will contribute $100 towards your ticket. I'm sorry for you because you are speeding. You say you got to drop your daughter. But anyway, if I'm in Philadelphia or Jersey, maybe I will call the police guy and talk to him. But in your area there, my hand out there.
No, but
okay.
Just to counter you, right? CDC people cuss me, UP people cuss me, ANC folks cuss me. They hate me. In fact, they just ended volunteer service I rendered to them. The amount of insults I received from them, that one on part. In fact, I begin the most hated. But no I care. No I go
on. Okay. For those of you who've been commenting, guys, thank you. Share the video, and tomorrow morning. So you see, I'm just going to take a rest. And if the other people can do, I can do it. So, when I call the name, Lufa say, damn, man, why I always miss it? But anyway, if that guy can do it too. What? Yeah, I got to do it. So tomorrow, we air the show again. We'll rerun the show. And at the same time, we'll be up there. So thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for everything. I love you all. And Kia Radio. And Tuzon, play our stuff and then take it from there.
Thank you, boss man.
And have a good night, Tuzon.
All right.
Oh, Liberia, wake up time. Oh, time for the people to talk. Oh, independent minds. Oh, for a better Liberia. Oh, independent minds. Oh, let the voices be heard from Montserrat to Grangadette, Maryland, Limba, and Bowman, Cape Mount, RGB, Lassa, and Riverside, Jabapalu, River Deep, Grand Crew, and Sino. Ideas are rising from every town, speaking the truth and lifting the nation. Progress, unity, transformation.